You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive.
Indian Scotch.
Oh, that should hopefully. Let me inhale this. Hold on. Wow. Okay, so
Stings the nostrils.
cheers on this. You know, honestly,
Oh, it's that first sip.
Oh, see, thought it just clears out everything.
There you go.
Right?
That's good.
I didn't need to take a Neocitrin. I just got to take a shot of this
Just need
stuff.
some scotch.
Honestly, oh my God, I won't stop coughing all day. I've been just like,
Yeah, I heard you. And I was thinking, geez, how's he going to do this podcast tonight?
let me apologize now because I have a feeling there might be a
Some
lot
breaks.
of off mic coughs. Or if I'm laughing, then I sound like an old man.
It sounds like you smoked like a pack of cigarettes.
I
this
know,
morning.
right? And I don't even smoke. I even stopped smoking cigars years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Remember, we used to be into cigars. I don't know.
totally.
I don't know why I stopped.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I don't know.
Was it a health thing?
Yeah, maybe. I think I got a little freaked out.
Oh, okay.
You know, like it's a health thing, and so it just made me like it turned me off.
Yeah. Because you used to be a pretty heavy smoker back in the day.
Long time ago, I did. Yeah, long time ago.
Yeah,
Like
I
we're talking
kinda
like a
remember
good
that.
15 years ago. Like my, around like early 30s.
Were you talking like a pack a day kind of thing? Or what maybe not that much.
I think maybe like I don't even think it was that much.
Okay.
You know, maybe like on stressful days or whatever, right?
Right.
It seemed like, I know it sounds gross now, but it was just kind of the thing. Dude, I remember when we started the company and we would like madman style because we were all young
Smoking
people. We're like,
inside?
who's going to care? Customers going to say, like, but that's when we were in our like, early 20s, right?
Yes, yeah.
That's just, I feel dirty even admitting to that right
I know
now.
it's kind of crazy, but it's a different
Sorry,
time.
guys.
I mean,
It's true, right?
Yeah.
It's and I mean I'm sure lots of people still do, obviously, but no. And again, I managed to quit smoking, and then I went from smoking to drinking. No, I'm kidding. But the cigar thing, I'm shocked about because I did kind of enjoy those.
Yeah.
But I know my wife was complaining that I stunk.
yeah, they're stinky.
They're pretty,
for sure.
and then she would like literally like
he's
make me
like,
sleep on the
"Ew."
couch or something. That could be for other reasons, but whatever. I'll just blame the cigar. Oh, geez.
Wow.
All right.
Yes. So another busy day. Wednesday.
Kind of. I did take a little bit of a break this afternoon. I was watching the Canada played today. Canada
yes.
played in the World Cup soccer, right? First time Canada made it there in 30 years.
30 years, 37 years.
It took me like the first fucking 15 minutes just to fucking realize what team was Canada. Like, I mean, our country is based on a red fucking flag.
Yep.
Right? With
Yep.
a red maple leaf.
Yep.
And Belgium has like 3 colors. I think they have black, gold, and red.
Right? Yeah.
And I see 2 teams out there, a red and a white. And I'm like, well, that just doesn't make any sense.
Are they both Canada?
Because it felt like that, right? I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, again, it's just like it took too long. I mean, that wasn't, true north, strong, and proud. I was just like, what, guys? Like, there's a big design flaw there.
That's kind of weird.
At least give me a big red maple leaf on the back to be proud. Like, white?
Red shorts? Something?
Red shorts?
And a white shirt, maybe? I don't know.
Something.
Yeah,
I was a little disappointed. I kind of felt that there's a little bit of a fail there.
That's odd. Yeah,
And, of course, they failed the game, too, unfortunately.
did they lose?
Yeah, they lost. But I mean, again... They deserve to, in my opinion, because of those damn uniforms. Man, Belgium could have had a black outfit.
Yes.
They had 3 colors to choose from, and none of them were white.
That's right.
We got red.
We only have
Give us
2.
red.
Yeah, one color.
Well,
That's
you can't
right.
even say the negative space counts.
White,
That doesn't count.
Yeah, white isn't even. Yeah.
It's like saying, well, I guess even the American flag is red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
I guess negative space is a thing.
Yeah,
I guess.
I suppose, but they always have red, blue. You
Right,
never
right.
you never see the Americans go out with a white outfit.
I don't think so, right? I think their first go-to is blue.
Yeah, it would be blue. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And right? Okay, but England is white too, right?
white
if
as
I'm
well.
not mistaken, their
Yeah.
soccer outfits are white.
That's a good point.
Huh? So what happens if Canada's going to play the UK?
Yeah.
How the hell are they going to?
2 white uniforms out there.
Canada has to make it past a couple more rounds for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen.
and, oh my God. And England would probably destroy us.
Oh, geez, I don't think that's going to be too hard to do, unfortunately. Anyway.
But anyway, well, it was
Color.
our first time.
Yeah.
First time in 37 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was a color fail.
Yeah,
I think it was a color
epic,
fail.
Epic color fail. Yeah.
Interesting. So, funny enough, that's kind of what we're here to talk about today.
Oh.
Color fails, but not really. But just man, like color is something, there's a lot of things that come easy. A lot of, I feel color is always a challenge.
Yes.
For graphic designers.
Big time.
When it comes to like, choosing a color for a brand, choosing a color for, a website. Again, I'm kind of disappointed because I think school kind of really flopped on this one.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. I remember doing like literally painting color wheels and all these colors and things like that, and trying to figure out exactly what goes with what and the tertiary. And
dude, I have nightmares of paint chips, like the smell, and just like, okay, show me a gradation of chips from light gray to dark gray. Yes. And it's just like, no, you were too dark here. And it's just like, what the fuck? Oh God, it was such a nightmare.
Oh yeah, it was very scary. I remember that, and I don't know whether I really learned anything.
Well, and again, no, they tried to weed, as everybody said, they tried to weed out everybody in that first year. But I mean, again, in my whole argument, and this was my whole argument there, was just like, dude, we're already on computers.
Yeah.
So why are you teaching us the basic form? Like, I appreciate the fundamentals of typography. I appreciate the fundamentals of color theory. But color theory is nothing if you don't teach me how to actually choose the right fucking color.
Right. Good point.
Like, don't get me wrong. Hey, fine. The school taught us, they didn't even teach us color theory. This is my issue with this.
Yeah.
They taught us the fucking color wheel.
The color wheel.
Which that's
was
what it was.
Theory back then.
Color harmonies. Like, yes, I appreciate what Sir Isaac Newton brought to the graphic design world. Thank you, sir. He created the wheel and he gave us a complementary color and the split complementary color, right? And then you get these crazy things like, what was it? Tridic? I wrote some of these down. A naggle? Whatever. I don't even want to say that one. All I know is it starts with anal. So, and again, not good. But then monochromatic and like, okay, I get it. Okay, he gave us this, and he realized this, and it's a cool story how we got to it. You know how we held up the prism, and it reflected light, and it changed everything, right? Like it was almost like that whole Led Zeppelin album, the Pink Floyd album, right? Like, hey, that was a good tribute to him because it was like, hey, that was groundbreaking. But again, when it came to what we were at, we were in school, and I appreciated that. But what I need to learn more is how to choose those colors.
Yes.
Right. And unfortunately, you didn't go to the store and buy a color wheel.
No.
And then had this, triangle, this triadic circle to or this triangle to fit around the circle to choose your color. This is where it kind of fell short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all the fucking paint chips in the world wasn't going to help me figure out how to choose the right color for a brand. All it would do is really fuck me up for life. Exactly. And every time I have that smell when I go to Home Depot, I start, cringing. Get me out.
I'm back in school. Oh, I'm back in school.
Right? Like, and again, and the issue is it wasn't even theory, right? It was color harmonies, right? Like really, because I mean that's what this was about, like in school. So
these color harmonies would be the colors that work together best.
Yes,
kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
And
that's what it was. You're saying. And I mean that's what every one of these would be: complementary, split, triadic, analogous, all that. Right. Like that's again, it's not necessarily a theory per se. Right. It was just how it all fit within this color wheel,
You're
right?
Yeah.
So that's where it's like, oh, they kind of dropped the ball. Where really what we needed to know is how to actually choose the right color, to once you choose it, the secondary, the third. I think this is the problem that everybody struggles with.
Right.
Because again, after that color class, I never went back to a color wheel. I never did. And I mean, if maybe there's a purist out there that's like, well, you just don't understand color. You know what? Fine, if that's the case.
This is true.
I don't fucking need to because technology has stepped in and helped fill out those gaps where the fucking teachers fell short.
That's right.
Right?
That's
just
right.
like, they're advancing AI for this and they're creating better apps for that. Well, guess what? There's now an app for color picking too. That definitely helps.
I've always been kind of frightened of color and its implications. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like it just scares the shit out of me. Yeah.
Well, it is the most important part of a brand, in my opinion.
It really is. Yes.
I think because so there's some pretty deep, psychological parts to colors, right? And how how your mind perceives the color, and then immediately associates that color with a memory, which then triggers an emotion. Like there's this 4, 5, 10 step process that happens when you see a color, and if a brand owns that color, well, then either you're going to have a positive or a negative reaction based on that. So color is honestly probably more important than the actual logo itself.
Yeah.
Right.
I would agree. Yeah.
Like it's kind of insane in that part. Like, I mean, again, and there was a study done by Seoul Expo Color something or another. I forgot. But in their study, with everybody that they were interviewing and everything that they figured out, over 90% of the respondents said that color was their first choice in choosing a product over the logo. In their impression was the brand, right? Over anything else. Images on there, 90% more than texture, right? So, and again, it's because that you're drawn first to the color, and if it's a positive reaction that you've had with that brand, you'll just automatically go. Like, I mean, I don't know what the Chex logo looks like, but you know what the Chex box and colors look like, right? Wheaties, Tricks, right? I don't know why I'm going to cereals here, but peanut butters, right? Like, if you think about it, it's not the logo that makes you go and reach out and grab it. It's the color of the color. So immediately, so it's huge importance in that sense, right? It creates the right impression for your brand, which again, every brand wants to own that color to give that impression. It appeals to the audience. The right color for a brand appeals to the audience. Again, Nike, red, their audience, active, like those two just go together. Like half the time you don't even have to see the swoosh to know it's a Nike ad.
Exactly.
Right. And then again, and a big thing, of course, is color differentiates your brand from other people's brands, right? So Nike, Adidas, huge competition there. Two very different brands, brand colors, right? So again, like it's in my opinion, more important than the logo itself, which is horrible to say because again, we all love logos, but when it comes to brands, remembering a brand, recalling a brand, getting that memory, I think color is up there, dude.
Big time. Yeah. If that's the case, if people are like keying in on the actual colors more so than any kind of imagery or anything like that, man, that's pretty heavy duty. You got to nail this shit right off the. And honestly, now I'm more frightened of color.
You should be scared, Sean.
God, it gets worse.
Oh no! You know what? Again, it's hard to believe, but I mean, and this is why I feel like they fell short in school. I in general, we know my opinions in my college experience. I went to what was one of the best colleges in this country for graphic design, and I just feel like it was just oversold. It was just a bunch of bull. Like they weren't up with the times, they weren't up with their teaching methods, and then they went off and started like the RGD, and I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like, who cares about that? Teach your kids properly.
Well, and I think too, and this may be a different podcast altogether, but we were at the cusp of technologies coming in and changing and things like that. You know what I mean?
We had that talk today, right?
Yeah, we did. We had an old guard kind of thing, and that's you and I straddled the line on that, I think. You know what I mean? So, but that doesn't excuse teachers should be up on the latest technology.
Well, that's what I mean, right? If you're going to school and if you are going to school to be trained, on what's out there, what the real workforce is, teaching you old is not helping you.
It's not
going to
help you with doing anything. Exactly.
It's like I still remember my prof. I remember asking him, "Hey, by the way, in the hall, have you heard about this internet thing? Like, is this something we should be learning?" And he was like, it's a fad. It'll be gone. Dude, this wasn't that long ago. This wasn't like 1970 here. We're talking about again, we're talking about late 90s. Shit was already out. The companies were out.
Yeah.
So again, teachers need to be looking for. But again, you're right. This is another podcast altogether.
That's a different animal. But yes, we'll continue with.
Had they taught us at least how to choose the right colors for a brand or where to start.
Yes.
Okay. I kind of feel like I got more guidance and instruction in high school, to be honest, because in high school, I really do. Or at least looking now back at my high school portfolio versus my college portfolio, I think my high school portfolio was better, to be honest.
Wow.
Oddly enough, right? So, again, in my opinion, where do you start? Well, you can start with color psychology.
Yep.
Okay. But the first hurdle, when you start with color psychology is learning how to fucking spell psychology. Like, right off the bat. That's just hard. Like, is there an H in there? Is the H at the beginning? Is it like it's just
there's a P in there,
right? No, and that's what I mean. Like, so that's a huge hurdle right off the bat. Okay, so that makes it difficult. But okay, once you get past that, and you know, if you're like me, you've just accepted the fact that you will never spell that word correctly ever. First time around, never. Okay.
Thank God for the fucking spell check.
Oh God. Color psychology is the study of how colors affect perceptions and behaviors.
Yes,
okay.
right.
And this is some pretty serious shit.
Right.
Right. So it's not like willy-nilly and guessing. Right. There's been thousands of studies on this.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so much evidence that, you know, proves how color can affect a person's mood. It can affect their experience, right? There was an experiment where an airline offered two different colors. They didn't offer it. Sorry. They on the flight down into a place, right? They put warm colors in their cabin. Okay, you know, like so it was like warm, soft, you know, like muted whites, right? A little bit more, you know, haze. On the way back, they used brighter, crisper whites. Okay, they had temperature was the same, both directions. The temperature was identical, but people complained that it was colder on the way back because of the color choice, because of the lighting, and on the way down, they said that people were taking off their jackets. You know, so again. The temperature was exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
But in this case, the environment that the color was actually kind of, you know, whatever.
Subconsciously, there's
crazy though.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
There was this other study, which I thought was really interesting, where they put like a Oculus on people, right?
Oh, okay.
Oculus headsets or whatever, VR headsets.
VR things, yeah.
And they put a glass in front of them, okay? But in the VR set, they would change the color of the glass.
Oh.
Okay? Now, the temperature of what was in the glass was cold.
Yeah.
Okay? So they would then make the cup blue. So people would go, they'd reach out, the blue, and they would hold it, right?
Okay.
And they would put it down because it was cold.
Oh.
Then they said, okay, we're putting out a different color.
Yeah.
They changed the color to red. Okay.
Hot.
They reached out, they grabbed it, and they said that not that people thought all of a sudden it was scalding hot, but they were able to hold on to it longer than they did when they thought the color was blue, which is fucking crazy.
Wow.
Because it was, like, again, exactly the same.
Yeah.
So, again, weird shit, right?
So this is stuff with our brains, like, that go back to when we first crawled out of the sea or whatever. You know what I mean?
Like, absolutely. And again, this kind of goes back to, like you can take this back thousands of years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To,
like,
absolutely,
this is
right?
Stuff that we're almost hardwired to.
But then even like in more practical things, like for brands, okay, Heinz ketchup.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, what color is ketchup?
Ketchup is red.
Obviously, right? So they did an experiment, and they decided to go these wacky, crazy colors. Okay, they did bright greens and blues and grays, and for the first little while, it went through the roof. Everybody's like, I like my ketchup blue. I like my ketchup, and it sold, right? And Heinz thought, there's no reason why ketchup had to be red. Yeah, it tanked very quickly afterwards. So huge spike. And then it just disappeared.
Interesting.
And then oddly enough, okay, because again, people associate ketchup, tomatoes with red.
Yeah.
Okay? So 6 years later, Burger King thought they'd try something with Heinz, and for St. Patrick's Day, they brought back green ketchup. They did this once. They never did it again because it was a total bomb. Okay, so again, color, and so again, I couldn't imagine having green ketchup.
No,
like,
that's
ridiculous.
I could see it. As a goof, or maybe your young child would love squirting some blue ketchup on your hot dog. But other than that, I don't see regular people like grown-ups
wanting to.
Going.
It's kind of gross. I think,
green ketchup. No.
Now they're not all failures, though.
Oh,
okay. So if you think back when Steve Jobs came back to Apple, okay, and he reinvented the iMac.
Yes.
Okay. His big statement is a computer doesn't have to be beige anymore, right? And that was the color. It came the bright blue.
Yep.
It was translucent. It was, bright green, bright whatever, right? And it was
pink,
all these crazy ass colors.
Yes.
And they couldn't keep them in stock. They could, it just went nuts. It became like the fastest or most selling personal computer like of all time.
Wow.
Because again, all of a sudden, it was just whole new, people wanted it. It just, and something new. I guess they didn't feel the computer had to be now a business item, right?
It's it's a personal computer,
right?
You want to personalize it with your favorite color.
But if it looks exactly like the same as the one that you take at work,
exactly.
and the funny thing is, after that, none of their computers were ever that shitty color again, right? None of them were ever beige again, right? Because he even made a comment, it doesn't have to be beige anymore. And ever since then, it's like they always had cool colors, or they had the silvers, or they changed the landscape, right? And just by introducing color. Wow. So there is a huge thing about on color psychology, right? But you can't necessarily make that your only reason for choosing a brand color,
right?
Because more times than not, the problem with relying on psychology for color in marketing and branding is that the color is equally dependent on people's personal feelings and personal experiences. Oh, okay. So you might love the color blue.
Yep.
But if you got hit by a blue car, you're probably going to be scared of that color blue. Yeah. Right? I've got I'm still dreading the color blue because of those fucking paint chips from college. I'm serious. I fucking hate them. But it's true, right? So although color psychology is a great guide, maybe an indicator, a direction in some ways, right? People's personal experiences with those colors, not to mention the cultures and everything else, have probably a bigger effect on that, right? So you take that with a grain of salt.
Yes.
It's powerful. Respect the fact that there is, a real huge connection between the human psyche and color, but you can't just let color psychology guide you on this, right? So I think, in my opinion, it's more important for the color to support the brand, the personality of their brand, the personality of the brand you're trying to portray, instead of trying to align your brand with stereotypical associations with color. Right?
Yeah.
Just because, everybody thinks this way about the color red, don't necessarily just jump to that conclusion, right? Or pink or this or that. Let's face it. Pink's a pretty controversial color.
Totally.
Okay? Yeah. It's something called perceived appropriateness, which is interesting. Okay. And this is something new that's kind of bouncing around in a lot of the, the psychology magazines. Okay. When it comes to colors, instead of following, color psychology, think of it more as a perceived appropriateness. And what that is you have to ask yourself, does the color fit what's actually being sold? Okay. Is it appropriate for what I'm selling? Right. Okay. So now all of a sudden there's more questions to ask, other than just beelining to the color, like the psychology side of this, right? Does the color show the personality of the brand, right? Again, the brand, is it an active brand? Is it innovative brand? Is it fun? Is it sweet? Is it passionate, right? So right off the bat, you figure out what, the brand's personality is like, and then start tying that in with colors. Right. Okay. Immediately. Does the color appeal to your audience? Okay, so now this is huge. Right. This might even be more important than the other one, because depending on what part of the world you are, the culture surrounding colors, are drastic, right? What one country thinks is a very good luck, color, in other countries would be bad luck.
Cursed.
It's cursed. Exactly, right? So that could kill a brand, and that's why you will see some giant global brands changing their colors, right?
In different
McDonald's in different markets uses a green background instead of a red one.
Really?
FYI, right? Honda, up in Canada, it's red. It's red. I believe in the US it's blue, which is interesting, right? So it's crazy how these giant brands, not these little brands, but giant brands will accommodate based on something like that. And that's based on your audience, the demographics, the psychographics. So that's a huge thing. Yeah. And of course, does it differentiate you from your competitors? Okay, so this is a huge thing, right? Because again, you can't. Some people just follow their competitors, right? Everybody else is blue, I'm going blue. Everybody's black, I'm going black.
You see that a lot nowadays with the simplification of,
oh my God, tell me about it, right? Yeah. Absolutely. But when it comes to this perceived appropriateness, it's more than just having a single answer for it, right? It's trying to, what's appropriate for your brand based on all these different things. Right. So that's a good way of going about this versus just beelining to, because it's kind of like a, what's the word? It's kind of like a common sense approach, in my opinion. Right. And maybe it's because it's too clear for me, and it's just like, duh, why wouldn't you do that, right? But again, this is the shit they don't teach you in school, right? And this is the shit that I wish they would teach people in school.
Exactly. Yeah, this is true. This would have been quite handy as a young man.
Well, even so, and again, it's funny because even here, it's like always, the hardest part is starting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So again, our process, you're right, our logo process is a little different.
Yes.
We always start with black and white logos.
Yes.
And we make sure the customer approves the logos in black and white first before we introduce color.
That's right.
Right. And there's a couple reasons why we do that. But, you know, ultimately that helps us keep that project moving ahead, you know, while we start, you know, figuring out about the brand, while we start learning about the brand, we start asking the right questions about the brand. We just did that, you know, this week. We just had a customer choose, you know, their final colors based on, they love their logo. You know, that we have a very collaborative approach with our customers. You know, they love the logo. Then they introduce the colors. All the colors suited the way we perceive the brand. Yeah. And on a good note, thank God they perceived the brand the same way.
Oh, that's good.
But again, the colors, it didn't mean that they all looked the same.
Yes.
Right? They all had very different interpretations of the brand. But nonetheless, it's like they could have gone with any one of those and we would have been happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I follow a 3-step process. I don't know your process, Sean. I can't talk to you. I can't talk about yours.
Like I said, we do our logos in black and white, and all our brands generally come in with their brands intact. So I really don't do a lot of this.
You
and it
jump
scares
on
the
that.
shit out of me anyway. So, but yes, that's my process.
Well, look. I have come up with and again, it's a 3-step process based on the times, based on, you know, like what we go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is as of today, not as of 1998 when my fucking teacher would tell me to go and grab a color wheel. And
I thought I smelled color
acrylic
chips in your office today.
Color chips.
And tears.
Yes, that was me crying. So step number 1, okay? Obviously, first and foremost, I have to choose, you know, my lead color, my primary color, okay? Right. So this is the intentionally chosen color that's based on a few factors, you know, psychology, based on the industry, real world. You know, I got a couple different things, okay? Yeah. So let's just start with the basic psychology part of this to be legit, right?
Yeah.
It's and I don't even want to say psychology. I want to go by color emotions. Because as a designer, okay, I can relate to emotions more than I can to psychology. It might be exactly the same thing, but for me, it's more so how they make me feel.
Yes.
Okay, and then I compare them with, you know, a lot of the brands out there. So, you know, we start with color emotions, right? And I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. The basic ones, right? Yellow gold, right? It stands for optimism, clarity, warmth, right? These are the feelings. Brands that embrace this, right, are like National Geographic.
Oh, yes.
McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Even IKEA. Okay. It's like, okay, that's nice, right?
Yeah.
Orange. It's friendly.
Yeah.
It's cheerful. Okay. It's confident. Brands that embrace that.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Totally. Yeah. Amazon. Okay.
Nice.
Very cheery, very optimistic. And of course, Hooters. Very confident there.
Yep.
So, I mean, how they stay in business, I don't even know. Red, okay, is excitement. It's bold. It's youthful. Okay. Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Coca-Cola. Right? Target. And even YouTube. Right? Embrace all of these feelings, right? Blue is your typical trust, innovative, intelligent. And this is where you get companies like Dell, IBM, Intel. But then you also get companies like BMW. Okay.
Oh,
again,
right.
It's again, they're not a computer company, but again, trust, innovative, performance, right? So again, it's right there in there. Green is peaceful, you know, health, growth, right? These are kind of some of the feelings that the color, you know, and then you got brands like Whole Foods, John Deere. Right? Again, huge one there, right? Animal Planet.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And of course, Starbucks. Right. And again, like embraces green more than anybody else that I know, right? Gray. Okay. If you can believe that gray's even a color. It kind of feels balanced.
Yes.
Okay. It's very neutral. It's very wise. Okay. Brands that embrace that. Apple. Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, yes.
Wikipedia.
Oh,
right. It's crazy. You don't realize it, but right. And black. Okay. Black as a color. Okay. It's powerful. It's sophisticated. It's edgy. We have a customer that their corporate color is black, which fucking balls. I love it.
That is
balls. So again, brands that embrace that. Jack Daniels. Puma.
Oh, yeah.
Right. HBO. So these colors at a very basic level, and there's still more of these colors, but I start a course with the emotional side. I tie in emotions and how those colors necessarily make me feel. And as a designer, I kind of feel that, yes, I'm in touch with my feelings, maybe a little bit more than just the average Joe Schmo. So it's a good start, but that's not the only place where I end, for sure, because again, experiences in your life will change how you feel about these colors. So these are just basically a giant guidepost where I start. Okay.
Yes.
So start there. Number 2. I go to, and this is all still within the step number 1. Okay. Right. So I go with these color emotions, right? I'll look at the industry. Okay. I will look at the industry. I'll see what the norms are in their industry. If there's a common theme in the industry, what the competitors are doing. And more importantly, what people aren't doing, what the competitors are not doing. If there's a color that can be claimed within that space that nobody is yet trying for. Right. Okay. Yeah, you can fit in to be one of the pack, and that's pretty safe. But if you got your long-term goal is to be memorable, dude, you do something different, but that's still in the same vein. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Own something else, right? Look for opportunities, something that you can actually own and call your own within that brand, right? Within that industry. So I look there, and then oddly enough, I look through stock photography libraries, like tons of them, right? I'll go to Getty, and even though I hate Getty, they do nice photography and they color correct really nice, right? And I will look for images that I feel represent what the brand is, because often those images have colors in there,
and you do the color colors,
right? And I will try to find color, and I will base it on images. So that's another thing that I do, right?
That's cool.
So I'll jump on all those, and then most importantly, right, I mess around with the saturation. Okay, with all these colors, because although maybe a certain color might suit that brand, the intensity straight out of the blocks might be too much for that industry. So you can pull it back if you have to, right? Maybe the original color is really muted and monotone. I jazz that up, right? So I really, really mess around with that, with the saturation to get a good base of a few choices to start. Okay, so that's where I start. Step number 1, right? Cool. I make sure I try to find my lead primary color. Right. Okay. Then number 2, I don't fucking go pick up a color wheel. I'm not
what?
Mr. Isaac Sir Newton, thank you. No, I don't, because you know what?
You don't try to match an opposite, spin it. What the fuck?
Dude, 2022, I don't even have anything paper in my desk anymore, okay? It's all, I got a pad there with a pencil. My markers and paintbrushes, that's at home, okay? So the next thing I do, right, is I try to find 2 secondary colors to complement this one. Right. An accent color and a neutral color. Okay? So again, and then I take my main color in search of 2 more additional colors, right, for a total of 3, and I go online to usually one of 3 different sites, okay? And these are online tools, okay, that, always help, right? And you can, depending on what it is that you want to look for, right? They all serve different purposes. One is called imagecolorpicker.com.
Image Color
Picker. Okay. I will put these links down in the blog description, so you guys can go check these sites out for sure. Okay. So Image Color Picker. So this one, fine. It revolves around color libraries. Okay, so this one's a good purist one, right? You put in your hex code, your RGB is your picker, and then it provides you not only the values in RGB, CMYK, but also the variations in shades, in tints, okay, of that, which is kind of nice. So this is shades and tints, so you can actually be like, oh, you know what, that's a better tint versus what I was initially thinking. And then it automatically shows you color harmonies from the color wheel. So this one pays tribute to Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, here you go. This is perfect for those purists who are going to probably be like nodding their head and being like, no.
Always have your color wheel at hand.
Always.
It's the first thing I go to.
It's the first thing.
Bullshit.
Yeah. The real reason I use this one though, because I never fucking go about it that way. Because again, I really don't. The reason why I go there is it actually has a really good upload an image feature. So you know how I talked about the image? So I can upload my image.
Yes.
And then it'll actually pull colors
stuff from
that. So that's why I use this site. I don't use it for the other shit. I use it for the generator from image. Okay. So that's why I go here.
So that'll pick all your kind of
It'll
third,
basically
fourth,
pick the
fifth.
themes, yes.
Yeah,
and it'll
yeah,
give you,
if
it'll be like, hey, here's 5 main colors that are used in here, and it matches them up.
That's
It's really
awesome.
good, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good way to start. And that's if you found that image, right? And a lot of times it's cool. Sometimes based on the pitch, I sell it that way to customers. I show them images instead of colors. And they're like, this image suits our brand
Like
much
a
better.
mood board kind of thing.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, I mean, so in that case, that's why I've used this one. Okay. Number 2, another one is mycolor.space. Okay. This one's great.
Yeah.
It's really simple, easy to fucking use, like really crazy. You just type in your color, okay? And then it automatically does the work for you. And it provides you like 20, 30 different palettes, all ranging from 3 to 6 color variations that go with your color. So your color is the first.
Yep.
And then it shows you, hey, here's an option with 3. Here's an option with 4. And they all look fucking great.
Oh, wow.
Right? But then you can just scroll down, right, and just choose. Now, again, this is a simple site. It's just quick, dirty, does the job well. It provides you gradients as well if you want.
Oh, cool.
Right? I kind of feel that this one might be more geared towards digital people, like because of the gradient side and everything. Because to replicate some of these gradients in print would be impossible.
Yeah.
But it's quick and dirty.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot for that. Okay.
Nice.
But my go-to that I go to for virtual, and again,
The top dog.
not sponsored, not sponsored,
Not yet.
but I am proud of this one because this one is like my secret weapon. This one's called Coolors.co.
Coolors.
Or colors, but without the U. So COOLORS.co. Okay. So this one's kind of like the granddaddy of everything. Or it does everything. It's like the biggest mixed bag of tricks.
Wow.
Okay. So you can pick your color. Okay. So obviously you drop your color in there.
Yep.
Okay. It shows you shades. It shows you tints. It shows you tones, hues, temperatures, harmonies. Okay, it breaks shit down.
Jesus.
Unreal, really easy to use. And then again, the tools that it comes with, it's got a palette generator. It also lets you just, if you don't have any ideas and you just want inspiration, you can search existing palettes that are trending. You could look for retro palettes. You could look for beach palettes. And it just based on what you're looking for,
Specific things.
It will wow you and show you. It'll show you what's trending, what's ranking, what people like. Because there's also like you can like this color combination more than that. So it shows you what's popular on the site for this year, last year, the year before, which is really cool. That's kind of neat because it's showing what's trending for that year colors wise. Which I would never base a brand around that, but it is kind of fun for projects at times.
I like the retro aspect.
Right.
I think that's kind of a
But
neat...
then it's also got like Christmas. Look at Christmas color combinations. It shows you like a list of different colors. It's kind of fun, right? It's so visual. I love it.
That's
good
awesome.
for inspiration.
Yeah.
Which is why I like this one. It's fantastic for inspiration. And then the thing I like about it is then it's got, once you choose your colors, it's got this thing called contrast checker. Okay. And this is something that I think is more important than the final fucking color you choose. Okay. Because honestly, like contrast tonal values can kill a composition, and people won't realize that. People assume because you're using the color green and the color, yellow, of course it's going to stand out. They'll be seeing it, right? But if the green is a muted green and the yellow is kind of like, right? All of a sudden, it's like you can't even make it out, right? It's almost like what you need to do is remove the color, and that's what it does. It removes all the color, makes it black and white basically, or shades of gray, and then it's like, look, this is your contrast now. So even though you chose, these colors that in theory should stand out, okay, because your blue is muted and your yellow is jacked or your green is equal, right? All of a sudden you can't make it out. Your contrast isn't enough. Contrast is so important in color, and people don't realize that. They just assume right off the bat, well, those two colors, obviously you can see it.
Yeah.
No, this is huge. And again, people overlook this all the time with
So
brands.
can you dial it in? Your
100% you can, right? And that's the nice thing. You can dial in and get, and it'll give you a ranking score of the contrast values for this. Oh, dude.
What do you shoot for? Like 100% kind of thing? Or
no, I don't know.
is it-
I don't shoot for 100%.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, most
Just
of the
like
time, because I like my colors very contrasty to begin with.
Yes, yeah.
I don't usually fall into that problem,
Okay.
but that's my personal taste.
Gotcha.
Some people like things a little bit more muted.
Right.
And that's where you need something like this, right? And
that's
again, you don't
really
realize how important it is here, and you don't think, no, nobody's stupid enough to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. McDonald's.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh no.
When was the last time you saw the McDonald's logo on a white background?
Oh wow.
You never do.
Right.
Those arches, because the yellow arches on a white background, there isn't enough contrast,
Yeah.
which is why they had to introduce the red in order for it to stand out. And that's why in those other markets, it's a deep green. It's not a bright green because there's not enough contrast with a bright green and yellow.
Yeah.
They had to go with like almost a deep, almost like a foresty green,
forest
right?
green.
So again, it's funny. You don't realize it, but it can kill a logo,
Yeah.
right? And in this case, and again, McDonald's is crazy, right? It's why you almost always see the arches on a red background because it makes the yellow just scream,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, it would be nothing. So,
Yeah.
so this is huge. This contrast checker to me is it's just kind of a fun way to validate that the colors you're choosing will actually look great side by side if you put colors on top, text on top, whatever you need to.
Yeah.
So that's my step 2
Yeah.
in order to find the 2 additional secondary colors. Okay.
Nice.
So again, I've got the primary color, and then I've got the accent color, and then I've got the neutral color, if you want to call it that way, right? So now I've got 3 colors.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yep.
step number 3, I always use a 60-30-10 rule.
Nice.
Okay. And again, that's for balance.
Yeah.
60% of the color of the composition, whether it's a website, whether it's a brand, whether it's a layout, right? 60% has to be one color.
One color.
30% to be the accent.
Nice.
Right? And then that neutral for like text and all the fine details, or like bullets, or if you have a little flourish somewhere, will be that third color. Right? And then
Nice.
if you have other colors, it doesn't mean that these are your prime, but these are the primary brand colors. This is the way we always pitch it with customers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got your primary. If you want additional brand colors,
Yep.
because you have to introduce this or that, fine.
Yep.
But that's like secondary, tertiary colors, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about your primary brand colors.
Yes.
You know, you can keep it as one. Chances are, though, you'll run into problems if you only have one. You need complementary. You need something to complement, and then you might need a neutral.
Yeah.
So in this case, I always look for 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And even though the color today that the customer chose was only 2 colors, but that third one will be used on their website, on their social, because again, now we have to go further than just their logo, right? We're going to have to go to their tagline. We're going to have to then build out some of their marketing materials. So we will use that third color.
Yeah.
So I always then incorporate the 60-30-10 rule. So step number 1, I choose my lead color.
Yep.
Step number 2, I find 2 secondary colors using these websites.
Yep.
Most of the time it's the third site. And then step number 3, I follow a 60-30-10 rule.
Yeah.
And then apply that to all my colors.
Nice.
So this works for me.
Yes.
I can't say this is the only way to go about it, but this is the kind of shit, this is the guidance that I was hoping school would give me an idea for, and then let me try and experiment and prove them wrong, or try a different variation or something else that worked for me. But I didn't get this.
I always thought there should have been a color theory class.
Well, they called it color theory.
Did you have that? I never even had that.
No, 100% color theory.
Yeah.
But it was really paint swatches.
Paint swatches.
And the color wheel.
Wow.
That's all it was. We never talked. They never went into depth about, psychology. Yes, they did. Red is an angry color. If you're vibrant, you use red.
Only angry. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, dude, get off it. No, like, help me choose the colors. Help me understand. Like, let's talk about that shit, dude. If I had to do that class over, I could fucking come up with a better.
That's absolutely crazy.
I did not have a good college experience.
You did not.
Damn. Whatever.
Oh, well, that is really awesome. Holy shit.
I mean, this is my way.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you come asking for help, I go this route, whether or not I explain it to you this way or not.
Yeah.
And this is when the people at the back ask for colors. I'm like, guys, did you find something that looked like this? Did you find a base color to start with?
Yeah.
But the thing is, all of these, especially in step number 1, gives us valuable reasons, data, opinions to tell the customer why we chose those colors.
Right.
So again, even though I presented those customers, yesterday we showed them the original colors, and today they're like, nope, unanimous. We all love this color.
Oh, geez.
The funny thing is, it wasn't my first color choice.
Oh,
it wasn't.
really?
I was happy with all the colors.
Yeah.
It wasn't my first choice.
Yeah.
It was a good choice. But again, for them, it was unanimous, which means there was something internally over there
that they all keyed into.
that we weren't privy to.
Yeah.
So hey, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, again, it worked, right?
That's our job, right?
I gave them the explanation
Yes.
why we chose the colored themes we did.
Yep.
I didn't be like, well, I kind of feel like this. No. I made sure I was like, listen, your industry is doing this.
Yeah.
Nobody's using these.
Yep.
We're kind of, based on data, we're saying that these colors could work. So here you go. What do you think?
Yeah.
And literally, it wasn't like, can you make the blue more bluer?
Yeah.
Can you make the gray more gray? Wasn't that bullshit? They laid it out,
accepted
and just,
it,
go with it.
because there was science behind it.
Well,
and
kinda, right?
research behind it.
Or at least we pitched it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
I hope that
awesome.
works. But
Yeah,
if
that's
there's
great.
going to be absolutely anything that you're going to remember from this podcast, I want it to be psychology is spelled PSYCHOLOGY. Yeah. It's that hidden H that fucks me up all the time. To me, that H jumps around everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why that messes me up so bad.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's crazy. What a weird word. English is so strange.
Oh, I love that language. All right.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Well,
Holy cow.
whatever. It's kind of cool. Our way of going about it.
I kind of want to start get a brand thing going. You
Well,
know, Like,
now,
this is-
hey, you know what?
I'm not so
Try
afraid
this.
of it anymore.
Well, and that's what it is. Try it. It might work for you.
Yeah,
It might not.
These sites are.
The sites are gold.
Yeah, that's great.
Even if you don't agree with how I came with that first color, those sites are they're gold.
Well, it gives you continuity throughout it, right? Because
Absolutely
if you're you've got the psychological aspect to the color that you've picked.
Yep.
And you'd have to go to your goddamn color wheel to figure that out before. Now somebody has figured out a process that can get this
much
down
stronger
for you. Yes.
And the funny thing is the combinations that you'll get on these apps, you would never find on a color wheel.
This is exactly it.
Ever.
Yeah, you never,
and the fact that I get them in like a split second versus fucking around all afternoon with just trying to figure out my triads and my, split complementary tidradic. Just
Aquameratic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever the fuck. Yeah. Isaac Newton.
Yeah, damn you, man.
Smart bastard.
Smart, but you're also an asshole.
He just causes so much grief over the years, dude.
All right. Well, with that being said,
awesome. Wow.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got a little bit out of this because I think that pretty much wraps this bad boy up, right?
Yeah, it was short and sweet. I like that one.
I think it was short and
really
sweet.
good. Yeah.
So, you know what? Hit us up on our Instagram. Let us know what you thought, what you like. Drop us opinions. This week we've had a lot of great messages from Instagram come through. Nice. So yeah, I've got some really good questions. And I mean, don't feel bad. I've had people, they're like, I know you guys are busy and I'll pay you if you need to. It's just like, you know what? Don't worry about that. As long as you're patient and I can give me a day or two to reply, we'll get back to you. Yeah. Needless to say, we do love the comments. I love, I just want to say one thing. I miss Flash 2. Oh, okay. I too miss
really?
Flash.
Is that a thing?
Oh,
is there like
you know what? There's been more than one person lately that's just been like, miss Flash.
Wow. Now, didn't Photoshop absorb that?
No,
like with the timelines and all
Steve
that
Jobs
kind of
killed Flash.
We did.
Remember? He was like, as of this date, Apple will no longer support Flash.
Right.
And boy, that really, like Shockwave Flash files, that fucked up. That's another thing altogether.
Something else to talk about.
Anyway, we hear you. We appreciate the comments. Thank you very much. If you like what you heard, leave us an awesome review, please, on Apple, on Spotify, on Google, wherever you get our information, and hit us up on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or we're getting followers. We're dropping stuff, and we are going to have some YouTube specific content, hopefully in the near future. Just got to get to the time, but we'll get there.
And is there anything else coming down the pipe?
Oh,
maybe?
there is something. We're so close to that swag concept. That's pretty hot. By the time this releases, we might be ready to show that to people.
Really?
Right? Because this will be out in like a couple weeks,
Couple weeks,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
So
Okay.
stay tuned.
Stay
We're
tuned.
kind of rare. We're kind of there with that bad boy, right?
awesome. It's
I
gonna
think
be
it's
awesome.
that final pull the trigger moment. I think that's what it is. All right. With that being said,
Yep.
anything else, buddy?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, my name's Massimo.
Hey, my name's Sean.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.